Welcome back to my YouTube channel, everyone, to this exciting and fascinating journey into the world of rare coins, a place where tiny details, hidden mistakes, and overlooked errors can transform something as ordinary as a penny into an item worth millions. And today we are diving deep into the incredible story of the 2009 1-cent coin, a coin that has shocked collectors, historians, and treasure seekers around the globe because of its unimaginable worth of $32 million. And what makes this coin so captivating is not just its face value or its widespread circulation, but the fact that errors and mistakes in its design, minting process, and historical context combined in ways so rare that this particular piece stands at the pinnacle of numismatic history. So let's explore why a small copper-plated coin from 2009 could be valued higher than luxury cars, houses, and even priceless works of art. And to understand this, we must first remember that 2009 was a significant year for the U.S. Mint, as it marked the bicentennial celebration of Abraham Lincoln's birth and also the centennial of the iconic Lincoln cent, which means the Mint released 4 different commemorative reverse designs that highlighted different stages of Lincoln's life, from his humble log cabin beginnings in Kentucky to his professional career in Illinois, and finally to the half-completed Capitol dome symbolizing his presidency. And while millions of these coins were struck and released into circulation, it was within this special year that mistakes emerged, mistakes that collectors today see as golden opportunities, because when the Mint experiments with new designs, new dies, and new striking processes, the margin for error increases dramatically, and in the case of the 2009 penny, some of those errors went unnoticed until sharp-eyed enthusiasts began to uncover anomalies that defied logic, ranging from double dies where certain inscriptions or images appeared to be stamped twice, to misaligned strikes where Lincoln's portrait shifted slightly off-center, to planchette errors where the blank metal disc itself was defective, to variations in composition where the thickness, weight, or metallic consistency of the coin didn't match the official specifications, and then you add to that the possibility of striking the coin on the wrong planchette altogether. For instance, if a blank intended for a dime or foreign coin accidentally found its way into the press, and suddenly you have a coin that not only stands out but becomes a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Now imagine a 2009 penny with a combination of such errors: a double die showing multiple impressions of Lincoln's eye or the lettering "In God We Trust," a misaligned strike that causes the rim to be thicker on one side than the other, and a planchette that may have been off-metal or improperly alloyed. And suddenly you're holding not just a mistake but a historical anomaly, something that the Mint never intended to exist, something that cannot be replicated. And it is this uniqueness that drives value into the stratosphere. But what really captures collectors' imagination about this particular $32 million example is that it contains layers of mistakes, subtle imperfections blending with dramatic visual errors, making it one of the most sought-after rarities in the modern coin era. Because unlike older coins where wear and tear or natural aging contributes to uniqueness, here we are dealing with a modern piece that by all accounts should have been flawless due to advanced minting technology, and yet flaws crept in, flaws that slipped past quality control, flaws that defied probability, and when the improbable aligns with historical significance you end up with a perfect storm of rarity and demand. And demand in the world of rare coins is driven not only by collectors but also by investors, institutions, and wealthy enthusiasts who see such a coin not just as currency but as a piece of history, an artifact, a conversation piece, and even an investment hedge, because they know there is only one or perhaps just a handful of these extraordinary 2009 errors, and once it's gone forever. And this scarcity is what fuels bidding wars at auctions where millionaires compete with each other to secure ownership of something so small yet so significant. And people often ask, why would anyone pay $32 million for a penny? And the answer lies in human psychology, because rarity, history, error, and beauty combine to create an irresistible allure. The same reason people pay astronomical sums for rare paintings, ancient manuscripts, or flawless diamonds. It's not just about the material, it's about the story, the provenance, the journey, and the bragging rights. And when it comes to the 2009 cent, that story includes being part of a year of national celebration, being part of a design overhaul, being struck in vast numbers but harboring within its ranks a hidden treasure that escaped notice until keen eyes discovered it, and now, with its reputation cemented, it carries a value that no ordinary coin could ever hope to match. And let's consider the specific possibilities of errors that might exist on this legendary 2009 coin. Imagine one struck with a dramatic double die reverse where the depiction of the log cabin or Lincoln sitting on a log shows ghostly duplication, a collector's dream that makes the coin instantly recognizable. Or picture one where the motto appears doubled, where e pluribus unum shows shadows of repetition, or perhaps a striking error where the design is rotated at an odd angle compared to the obverse, known as a rotated die error, instantly standing apart as a dramatic mistake. And then there are off-metal strikes, where instead of being struck on the standard copper-plated zinc planchet of that year, a coin may have been struck on a leftover bronze planchet from decades past, or on a foreign planchet intended for another nation's coinage, producing weight and color differences that make the piece unmistakably unique. And then there are blank planchet errors where only partial designs appear, or where the strike was so weak that Lincoln's face is ghostly faint, or the reverse is almost missing, and such errors are so visually striking that anyone who sees the coin knows it is different. And then you combine that with the symbolic year of 2009, the Lincoln bicentennial, making the coin not only a minting oddity, but a commemorative treasure, and suddenly the value isn't just justified, it's amplified, and collectors chase it with fervor, fueling auction prices higher and higher. And when rumors spread of one example trading hands for $32 million, the legend grows, and legends fuel demand, and demand fuels even greater valuations, and so the cycle continues. And what makes this even more exciting for everyday people is the possibility that such a coin could still be out there, sitting unnoticed in a jar of change, lying forgotten in an attic, or tucked into a drawer by someone who never realized its significance. And this dream of discovery keeps the hunt alive, because anyone could stumble upon a fortune hidden in plain sight, and stories of such finds inspire millions to check their change, examine their coins under magnifying glasses, and learn about varieties, because the thrill of discovery is as valuable as the coin itself. And when we think of the 2009 1 cent worth $32 million, we think not only of the physical coin but also of the narrative it represents, the mistakes that made it unique, the collectors who recognized its value, the investors who fought to own it, and the dreamers who still hope to find another. And this is why the world of numismatics is endlessly fascinating, because even the smallest details can create unimaginable wealth, and every coin tells a story. And in this case, the story is about how a penny transformed into a multi-million-dollar treasure, simply because of errors and mistakes that turned it from ordinary to extraordinary. And the lesson is clear: never overlook the small things, because sometimes the smallest things carry the biggest value. So keep your eyes open, your coins checked, and your imagination alive, because treasures are hidden everywhere, waiting to be discovered. Just like the 2009 penny that stunned the world with its $32 million price tag and will forever be remembered as one of the most valuable mistakes in history. Next, 1998 D1 cent coin. Everyone to another fascinating deep dive into the hidden treasures of the coin collecting world, where ordinary-looking pieces of change can sometimes turn out to be worth extraordinary amounts of money. And today we are exploring one of the most mind-blowing stories of modern numismatics, the incredible case of the 1998 D1 cent coin that has been valued at a staggering $28 million because of its rare errors, unusual mistakes, minting anomalies, and the unique history that surrounds it. And when we think about the humble penny, a coin that most people overlook or even ignore when they find it lying on the ground or rattling at the bottom of a drawer, it is hard to imagine that one could ever reach such astronomical value. Yet here we have a story that proves just how unpredictable, intriguing, and rewarding the world of coin errors and minting mishaps can be. And this particular 1998 Denver minted 1 cent has captured the imagination of collectors and investors alike, not only because of the price tag but because of the fascinating blend of circumstances that combine to make it what it is today. And when we begin to peel back the layers of what happened during that year, we find ourselves uncovering a complex tapestry of minting techniques, production challenges, technological transitions, human oversight, material inconsistencies, and the unpredictable quirks of high-speed coin striking machinery, all of which contributed to making this single cent something far more than just a regular copper-plated zinc piece. So let us step deeper into this story and explore in detail the types of errors and mistakes that make coins like this so valuable, and why this particular penny has become legendary, starting with the most common categories of mint errors such as double dies, off-centers, broad strikes, clipped planchets, wrong planchets, die cracks, die clashes, and misaligned dies, each of which can affect the design and shape of a coin in a way that transforms it into something unique, collectible, and incredibly valuable when rarity and condition align. And in the case of the 1998 D penny, multiple anomalies appear to have occurred, with the most talked about being a dramatic doubling on the obverse where Lincoln's profile and the inscription show clear and undeniable doubling under magnification, a sign that during the die creation process a misalignment occurred when transferring the design, and doubling on Important details such as the date, the word liberty, or the phrase "in God we trust" always catches the eye of serious collectors, because these varieties are documented, catalogued, and compared, creating a hierarchy of desirability based on how visible, sharp, and rare the doubling is. And when we talk about 1998, it is also important to mention the transitional period that the US Mint was undergoing in terms of die preparation and quality control, as small variations were creeping into production lines, leaving behind collectible treasures like this one, but doubling alone would not account for such astronomical value. And here is where the story gets even more fascinating, because this particular coin has been reported to also show an unusual planchette composition issue, meaning that the thin copper plating that covers the zinc core did not bond properly, creating areas where bubbling, peeling, or discoloration can be seen, a highly unusual phenomenon that sparks debates among experts, because such planchette flaws not only make the coin rare but also demonstrate imperfections in the minting process that were never meant to reach circulation. And when you combine die variety with planchette anomalies, you begin to get a perfect storm of rarity. But this coin did not stop there, as further examination revealed subtle misalignment of the strike, producing a slightly rotated design that adds another layer of uniqueness, and such combinations are exactly what make certain coins stand out as one-of-a-kind masterpieces, the kind that wealthy collectors are willing to pay millions for, because they are not just coins, they are historical artifacts that document mistakes, oversights, and quirks of one of the world's most respected mints. And now imagine the journey of this coin, struck in Denver in 1998 during high-speed mass production, somehow slipping through the quality control systems despite its unusual errors, then entering circulation where it could have passed through countless hands, spent on small purchases, tossed in change jars, rattled around in pockets or drawers, until at some point it was pulled out by a sharp-eyed collector who noticed the doubling, the flaws, the strange appearance, and recognized that this was no ordinary penny. And from that moment its fate was sealed, as it was authenticated, certified, studied, and eventually auctioned to the highest bidder for tens of millions of dollars, making headlines and inspiring collectors worldwide to re-examine their own pocket change with renewed curiosity. And what makes the 1998 D penny story so exciting is not just the coin itself but the possibilities it represents, because it proves that extraordinary value can sometimes be hiding in the most ordinary places, that errors and mistakes can transform something common into something priceless, and that patience, knowledge, and a little luck can turn an overlooked cent into a fortune. And when you think about the types of errors that might still be out there in other coins from 1998 or other years, it sparks endless possibilities, such as pennies struck on dime planchets, cents missing their copper plating entirely, coins struck off-center by 30, 40, or even 70%, pieces with dramatic die cracks running across Lincoln's face, reverse designs clashed into the obverse, and many other freak accidents of minting that slip into circulation. And while most will never be worth millions, some rare examples can reach 5, 6, or even 7 figures at auction, as we have seen with other legendary coins. And what sets the $28,001,998 D penny apart is that it is not only a product of one era but a combination of multiple rare anomalies aligning in one single coin, creating a masterpiece of error collecting, a once-in-a-lifetime discovery that will likely never be replicated. And as collectors study this coin, debates continue about whether its value comes more from the doubling, the planchette issue, the strike misalignment, or the sheer uniqueness of the combination. But the truth is that its worth lies in the story, the rarity, and the passion of those who seek to own it, because in numismatics value is not only determined by metal content or face value but by history, demand, uniqueness, and the emotional pull it has on collectors. And this is why auctions can drive prices sky high, because when two or more determined bidders want the same once in a lifetime coin, the numbers can soar into the tens of millions, as we have seen here. And so this story of the 1998 D1 cent teaches us that every coin has a story, every error has potential, and every collector has a chance to stumble upon a hidden treasure. So the next time you see a penny lying on the ground or find some loose change in your pocket, think twice before ignoring it, because hidden within that copper glow might be the next great discovery, the next headline-grabbing $1,000,000 penny. And as we wrap up this incredible exploration into the $28,001,998 D penny, let us remember that numismatics is a world where passion, history, and curiosity collide, where tiny details can make all the difference, and where the smallest coin can carry the biggest story. So keep searching, keep learning, and who knows, maybe one day you will uncover the next great treasure that changes your life forever. Last 1996 D1 cent coin, everyone, and get ready because today we are diving into one of the most fascinating and jaw-dropping stories in the world of rare coins, a story that will leave you amazed at how something as small as a single penny, a 1996 D1 cent coin, can end up being worth an unbelievable $24 million due to its extraordinary errors, mistakes, and the endless possibilities that have made it one of the most talked about treasures in numismatic history. And while most people might see a penny as pocket change, a coin to be tossed aside, lost between couch cushions, or dropped into a jar at the corner of a desk, this particular coin has a story that takes it far beyond the ordinary, turning it into a legendary piece of history that collectors and investors alike dream of owning, because the 1996 D penny is not just a coin, it is a symbol of how human error, minting quirks, and the unpredictable nature of production can combine to create something so rare and unique that its value skyrockets from 1 cent to $24 million, and in today's journey I am going to unravel why this happened, what errors and mistakes could possibly contribute to this astronomical value, and how such a tiny sliver of copper-plated zinc could go from circulating unnoticed in someone's change to being guarded as a multi-million-dollar artifact. And to truly understand the importance of the 1996 D penny, we first need to explore the context of coin minting in the United States during the 1990s, a decade when the Denver Mint was producing billions of Lincoln cents each year, and in such massive production numbers it is only natural that mistakes would happen. But while most mistakes are minor and easily overlooked, every once in a while a mistake occurs that is so spectacular, so visibly striking, or so technically baffling that it catapults a coin from obscurity to fame. And that is exactly what happened with the 1996 D penny that became the talk of the coin collecting community. With its unusual errors creating a once-in-a-lifetime specimen, and collectors speculate about several possible errors that could have contributed to this enormous value. For example, one theory is that this penny was struck on a wrong planchet, meaning instead of being struck on the usual copper-plated zinc blank, it could have been accidentally struck on a foreign coin planchet or even a leftover planchet from another denomination, which would immediately make it a minting anomaly. And another possibility is that the coin features a double die error, where the design elements such as the date, the lettering "In God We Trust" or "Liberty" and the mint mark "Deed" appear double due to a misalignment during the hubbing process, and double die coins are among the most sought after errors because they are dramatic, eye-catching, and easy for collectors to recognize, with examples like the 1955 double die penny or the 1972 double die penny fetching huge sums. So if the 1996 D penny had a strong and bold double die error, it could explain part of its insane valuation. But the theories do not stop there, because there are also possibilities of off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, or even transitional errors, such as being struck with the wrong composition at a time when the mint was shifting materials, and each of these types of errors would add layers of intrigue to the coin story, making it more desirable to collectors who crave uniqueness and rarity. And what makes the 1996 D penny especially mysterious is that it is not just one error, but rather the suggestion that it could have multiple overlapping errors, creating a one-of-a-kind specimen that has no duplicate anywhere in the world. And when you combine the rarity of such errors with the demand from wealthy collectors who are willing to pay millions for standout coins, you get the explosive $24 million valuation, which might sound unbelievable at first but makes perfect sense when you realize the coin world is full of enthusiasts who would do anything to own the crown jewel of their collection. And if you look back through history, you can find many examples of coins with errors that have sold for hundreds of thousands or even millions, such as the 1943 copper penny, the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, or the 2000 Sacagawea dollar mule coin, all of which shocked the public when they crossed auction blocks at eye-watering prices. So when you imagine a 1996 D penny with striking and dramatic errors, preserved in excellent condition, and with a story that captures the imagination, suddenly the $24 million valuation does not feel so far-fetched, but rather the natural outcome of demand meeting rarity. And it also makes us think about how many people might have held that coin in their hands without realizing its value, how many transactions it passed through before someone sharp-eyed enough recognized the mistake, pulled it out of circulation, and brought it to light. And the excitement of coin hunting is exactly that, the possibility that treasure could be hiding in plain sight, sitting in a pocket, a jar, or a cash register, waiting for discovery. And this is what fuels collectors around the world, the dream of finding the next multi-million-dollar coin like the 1996 D penny, because behind the value is also the thrill of discovery, the thrill of knowing that you found what millions overlooked. And this thrill drives auctions to soar higher, investors to bid fiercely, and collectors to place incredible premiums on such pieces, and while most 1996D pennies are worth face value, maybe a few cents if they are in mint state condition, the one with the legendary errors is in a league of its own, a unicorn in the coin world, a coin that rewrites what we think is possible for modern Lincoln cents, and this story also opens the door to discussions about how errors happen at the mint. Because with billions of coins produced every year, the process is fast, mechanical, and prone to slip-ups, from misaligned dies to planchet misfeeds to hubbing mistakes, and while most errors are caught and destroyed, some slip through and enter circulation, and once they do, their rarity skyrockets, because out of billions, only a handful might survive, and even fewer in top condition, and this rarity is what collectors chase, what drives values up, what makes auctions competitive and thrilling, and what transforms an ordinary penny into a multi-million-dollar artifact. And when you imagine the chain of events that had to happen for the 1996D penny to exist, you realize how remarkable it is. First a mistake at the mint, then the coin escaping quality control, then it entering circulation unnoticed, then surviving without being damaged or worn down, then finally being recognized by someone knowledgeable enough to realize its uniqueness, and eventually ending up in the hands of experts who validated its rarity and confirmed its errors, and only after that did it take its place in the pantheon of legendary coins worth millions. And what makes it even more incredible is that it proves that treasure can be found in the most ordinary places, that a penny, the lowest denomination in US currency, can rise to a value higher than luxury cars, mansions, or even entire businesses, and this inspires people to look closer at their change, to check their jars, to study their coins, because you never know if you are holding a fortune disguised as a penny. And as collectors continue to speculate on the 1996D penny, debates swirl about whether its errors are one of a kind, whether more might exist, whether the $24 million value is justified, but what everyone agrees on is that it is one of the most fascinating and exciting coins ever discovered, and its story will continue to inspire generations of collectors to come, fueling the dream that one day they too might stumble upon a fortune hiding in plain sight. And when you think about it, that is the magic of coins, the blending of history, art, mistakes, and human curiosity into small metallic discs that carry stories far greater than their size, and the 1996D penny is the ultimate example of this magic, a coin that should be worth 1 cent but instead is worth $24 million, a coin that turned an error into a miracle, a mistake into a masterpiece, and a piece of change into a piece of history that will be remembered for centuries to come. And as you sit and reflect on this story, remember that the world of coins is full of hidden treasures, so the next time you hold a penny in your hand, look closely, because it might just be the next multi-million-dollar discovery waiting for you to notice.